I know you guys are objective over there, that you just report the news as it is.
Oh, I know. CNN makes a. I know.
Is that supposed to be a laugh line?
I wasn't supposed to be, but I guess it is.
You guys are objective over there.
Objective over there.
That's supposed to be a laugh line?
I don't know what's funnier, an audience of people laughing at the idea of CNN being an objective source of journalism, or a CNN reporter herself not being in on the joke.
I love inside jokes. Love to be a part of one someday.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. You know, on this channel, I do a lot of reporting on what's happening in the news, things that are popping up in pop culture, but I'm not always claiming to be objective, right? I have a lot of personal bias that comes through in the things that I talk about, and I try to give you my opinion with the news that we discuss. But CNN claims to be telling a different story. They think they're an objective source of journalism, and this really came to a head when CNN reporter Kaitlyn Collins was on the Stephen Colbert show and actually got laughed at when Stephen Colbert referred to CNN as an objective source.
I know you guys are objective over there, that you just report the news as it is.
Oh, I know. CNN makes a. I know.
Is that supposed to be a laugh line?
I wasn't supposed to be, but I guess it is.
Ugh. It is so awkward and uncomfortable. You even know when Stephen Colbert is saying that they're objective, he does this little hand wave thing. Can we zoom in on that for a second? Even he knows the words coming out of his mouth are untrue, but I guess they're used to this sort of late night culture where the audience just applauds and gives praise to whatever it is you say, whether or not it's true, and that backfired when he referred to CNN as objective. And then of course we get to her iconic response, is that supposed to be a laugh line? No, Kaitlyn, it is not supposed to be a laugh line. In fact, none of us want to be laughing at the idea that CNN is an objective source. We'd much rather prefer our news outlets to be giving us objective facts when it comes to their reporting, but that's just not the reality that we live in. And it's so interesting to watch these two people, Kaitlyn and Stephen, sit across from one another. These are two people responsible for media that is full of propaganda at any given moment, who both probably think they're being objective, who both probably think they're doing the right thing, and they're putting on this theatrical performance to try to convince the audience of that fact, and it falls flat when the audience laughs at the idea of objectivity. The mirror is cracking, the veneer's being wiped away, the man behind the curtain is being seen. We all know that you are lying to us on any given day, and that you have an agenda with each piece of reporting that you put out at CNN. And if you weren't too sure of that fact, which we could argue is objective at this point, I'm gonna give you many examples of all the different reporting that CNN has done in the recent past. Since it all seems we love a good joke, here are some jokes. First, let's start off with the riots in 2020 in the name of George Floyd, where CNN reporters on the ground said that they were fiery but mostly peaceful protests.
Christine, Laura, what you're seeing behind me is one of multiple locations that have been burning in Kenosha, Wisconsin over the course of the night. A second night since Jacob Blake was seen shot in the back 7 times by a police officer.
Right. Fiery, but mostly peaceful, as we saw police precincts, businesses, many of which were Black-owned, community spaces, and nearly entire towns burned to the ground and looted with all these different riots. Over $2.3 billion, and that's billion with a B, in damages. But yeah, mostly peaceful. Speaking of 2020, y'all remember that pandemic? Yeah, okay. And remember when Joe Rogan got COVID and he took a certain medication? Yeah, we went ahead and bleeped that because I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that medication out loud anymore due to some of the work CNN did with their propaganda. But yeah, Joe Rogan made an entire video about the medication he took in treating his COVID. And let's take a look at how CNN edited that video when they put it to air.
And it turns out I got COVID. So we immediately threw the kitchen sink at it. All kinds of meds, monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, Z-Pak, prednisone.
Now you know damn well Joe Rogan didn't look like that. And it's a good thing we have the videos side by side. They made him look like a whole ass zombie before putting that to air, and it got greenlit. Somebody, more than just somebody, a group of people said that that was okay to air that.
You guys are objective over there, that you just report the news as it is.
And we're just gonna continue down the timeline here. There was a moment where a CNN technical director by the name of Charlie Chester was actually secretly recorded talking about CNN's agenda and the different narratives that they plan to push. some in regard to Donald Trump's presidency, others in regard to things like climate change. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth. And let's hope that that horse never needs dewormer.
I think there's just like a COVID fatigue. So like whenever a new story comes up, they're going to latch onto it. They've already announced in her office that once the public will be open to it, we're going to start focusing mainly on climate, climate like global warming, and like that's going to be our next like I don't know, like what's the word I'm looking for?
The word you're looking for is propaganda piece. But let's continue.
It's going to be our focus. Our focus was to get Trump out of office, right? Without it saying it, that's what it was, right? So our next thing is going to be for climate change awareness.
What does that look like?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I have a feeling it's just going to be like constantly showing videos of like decline in ice and weather warming up and like the effects it's having on the economy and really talking
Who decides that?
head of the network, like just
Who's that? Is that Zucker?
Zucker, yeah. I imagine that he's got his council and they've all like discussed like where they think
So that's like the next
pandemic like story like that will beat to death. But that one's got longevity. You know what I mean? It's not like there's a definitive ending to the pandemic, or like it'll taper off to a point that it's not a problem anymore. I think it's going to take years, so they'll probably be able to milk that for quite a bit. So.
Do you need to hear more? Sure you do. Let's watch some more. You'll all remember when former President Donald Trump was nearly assassinated at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Well, CNN, upon hearing this story, decided to put a headline that reads as follows: Secret Service rushes Trump off stage after he falls at rally. After he falls at rally.
You guys are objective over there, that you just report the news as it is.
And in this one, maybe CNN will say, we just didn't have all the facts yet. We needed to get the story out. Maybe you don't put the story out until you have facts. Maybe you don't report that the former president fell on stage when the video and audio recordings that we have at the moment clearly indicate that he experienced an assassination attempt. But okay. You guys are objective. And just for S's and G's, I'll show you one more clip from CNN. This is where they take out of context a conversation between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Let's watch.
I want to play one exchange that was kind of classic. Well, there were a lot of exchanges that were classic Donald Trump, but this one really stuck out to us.
And Nagasaki were bombed, but now they're like full cities again. So
right,
it's really not something that So it's not as scary as people think, basically.
So that was more Elon Musk than Donald Trump talking about, sort of suggesting that what happened almost 80 years ago, I think 80 years ago next year, the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, now it's okay. Kind of trying to blow off the impact of that.
Be so for real right now. You can tell she doesn't even believe the things that she's saying. When first she set it up as a Donald Trump clip and suddenly realized in listening to the clip that it was actually Elon Musk that made the statement, she had to correct herself in real time and say that it was actually Elon Musk. And you can see the sort of built-in shame she, I hope, feels for telling a lie, but she still continues to say it with her head down, spewing this lie about Elon and Trump. And in case you needed to see the clip in full context to know what they were truly talking about, let's play a little segment of it. A larger segment than what CNN shows, but still.
So like after Fukushima happened in Japan, like people were asking me in California, are we worried about like a nuclear cloud coming from Japan? I'm like, no, that's crazy. It's not even dangerous in Fukushima. I actually flew there and ate locally grown vegetables on TV to prove it. And I donated a solar water treatment, a solar powered system for a water treatment plant. And
but you haven't been feeling so well lately, and I'm worried about it.
No, but I mean,
I'm only kidding.
It's fine, It's like Hiroshima and Nagasaki were bombed, but now they're like full cities again. So
right.
it's really not something that you know.
That's right.
So it's not as scary as people think, basically.
So it turns out they weren't actually downplaying the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They were in fact talking about the idea of nuclear power, nuclear energy, and discussing the risk and the danger of moving forward with nuclear power. But CNN, as always, tells you a very different story.
You guys are objective over there, that you just report the news as it is.
I could go on with example after example of CNN doing things just like this, spewing their propaganda out into the world and then claiming to be an objective source. But I'm happy to recognize that other people are recognizing this issue and they're laughing in the face of CNN when told that they're an objective source. We know they're not objective, they know they're not objective, but still they hop on air, look you dead in the eyes and tell you that they are. It seems as though CNN subscribes themselves to the old adage that if you tell a lie enough times, it will become the truth, and that's what they're trying to do with their image of objectivity. And right now, as they tell that lie, they're getting laughed at. And I hope that continues. We all have bias and blinders. It is normal, it's natural, and we should take it upon ourselves to look deeply within to try to understand our bias and understand where those blinders lie. But CNN decides to look you in the eyes and tell you that they have no bias, they have no blinders, that they are, in fact, objective. Take a drink every time I say objective this episode. And the irony of it all is that the funniest thing to happen on the Stephen Colbert Show in quite some time was something that wasn't even meant to be a joke. But those are just my thoughts. Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, I encourage healthy debate, so if you disagree with anything said in this video, duke it out, but do so respectfully. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every day. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.